On a previous video, I showed you guys how to use Navicat and pgadmin in order to reach your database and to be able to take a look at your data. Today, we're going to take a look at how to do so from inside Webstorm. I've made a couple of videos on how to use Webstorm in the past, and I just wanted to keep on showing you what other features Webstorm has. So in order to be able to do this, you do need to download a plugin. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to Settings, Plugins. Here we are. I already have it installed, but the name for it would be Database Navigator. Here you go. You would just go ahead and do Browse Repositories, Database Navigator. There you go. You can see that this one's the one that has about 500,000 downloads. It supports Oracle, MySQL, and Postgres. It says Postgres early preview, but it works fine with Postgres. It's what I've been mainly using it for. So let's go ahead and just do OK here. And the main issue with this one is you actually need to download the Postgres GDBC driver. And here's the website for it. It's gdbc.postgresql.org/documentation/documentation.html, and then download for it is right here. So you can just go ahead into the website and download it. I'm also going to be posting this link on the page below. So let's go ahead. I've already downloaded it. Just go ahead and make sure that you do remember where you've downloaded the driver to, because you are going to need that driver in order to use it with Webstorm. So inside Webstorm, let's go ahead and create that database navigator. So you go here to this window, DB Navigator, and you want to do an Open SQL console. Notice that I have two connections connected already. So what I'm going to do is actually delete those, or at least show you guys how to create one. So right here where I go to Connection, Settings, this is what you would see on that window if no connections were available. You would get an empty window and you'd go ahead and click on the green arrow and this page would show up. And this is where you set up the connection. So I'm going to demonstrate two different connections that I have set up right now. One is my local one and the other one is a remote database that I'm connecting to. So for connection, the first thing you do is a name, and then a description. And this driver library right here is going to be the file that you downloaded off the website. I saved mine inside Documents, as you can see, Documents. And this is the file, Postgres-9.4. And they have different versions of these for the different Postgres versions. I'm just going to go ahead and do OK. And it will immediately find the driver that I am referring to. And user and password are the Postgres user and passwords that you use in order to install the software. The URL is going to be this, jdbc :postgresql:. This is going to give you access to your localhost machine. If instead of having your server served on 5432, you would have to go ahead and add what port it's getting served on if it's not the default 5432. Mine is the default, so I don't have to do that. You can go ahead, and I highly recommend doing this before pressing OK. It's just doing this test to make sure that the connection is actually valid. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you the connection to a remote server. Notice that my driver library hasn't changed. My driver hasn't changed. Again, you just go ahead and open the driver that you downloaded. The driver gets automatically updated, and the URL now does change, and it's jdbc://postgresql:// and now you put here your website. Then if you were not using the default 5432, you would have to add it in here, so anything else you were using would go there, and then you'd have /postgres, which would be the database you're using. The database default name is Postgres, so that's why I'm using Postgres there. Again, this information will also be right below this video. The user, my default user is Postgres, so I'm using that, and the passwords, again, whatever password you want, you have set up. And let's go ahead and try test again, and my database connection works. Okay, so go ahead and close that out. I'm connected, and this is what you get. You get both connections up here, and this one is the one I'm looking for, my remote connection, where it's going to have more data. Notice that just by clicking here, I already have my schema down and my connection down. So this is the default values that are going to be used on my connection terminal. So if I go ahead and run here, notice now that I am running this on the schema that I choose, which in this case is going to be public. And now if I start, you can tell that now I actually get IntelliSense for database command line items. So instead of having to use a command line, I can just go ahead and use Webstorm's connection terminal right here. And let's say I just want to select star from tree. Notice that it actually also finds my database item names. So select star from tree, and when I go ahead and click run, here you go, name, Q species. This is the information that I have saved on my database. Notice that I am only getting back 100 results. Again, you can change that limit if you want, but for me that is enough. Here's the different options that you want, but let's go ahead and actually take a look at the data without actually having to do a query. So if I open up connections, I go to public, which is where my tables are. I go to tables, and now let's say I want to take a look at trees. If I just double click trees, let's take a second since this is an online remote, and here you go. I have access to the database. Again, I'm starting out at 100 results, but this can actually be switched just like all the other ones. Here are some options. Fetch block size, 100 records. Let's say I don't want 100, I want 1,000. I go ahead and apply, and OK. And now if I refresh this, now I have 1,000 records. And if I needed to change data on this, it would also be just as easily. I just go here and I hit Christian. Instead of Christian Love, it's Christian Loves. That's it. Data has been signed. Notice that there's a little pencil right there showing me where that has been modified. And right here, I can, with the screen arrow, commit that change, or with the red arrow, I can roll back that change and go back to the default. I don't want to make that change right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll back. Notice that auto commit is off. If auto commit was actually on, this would not be necessary, and my changes would automatically be made to the database as I moved on. Filters work just as any filter would. It basically runs a query for you and takes out the data that you need or don't want, either or. Also, you would just go ahead and do find the next 1,000 records. Click right here. This is a remote connection, so it's a little slow, but as you can see, here you go. They all got downloaded. And let's see if there's a couple other options that I can also show you. If I go ahead and open up, you can see that I have 11 columns. It also shows you indexes, it shows you the constraints, it shows you the columns. Extract SQL statement, you can do a select statement from here. It shows you the sequences that are currently running on your database and the functions that you currently have. I don't have any functions for this table, so there are none. It also shows you the users, public and Postgres. So basically, as you can see, this basically gives you the exact same functionality that you would get from pgadmin. It comes very close to the same functionalities you would get from Navigator. And the best part is you're working from right inside Webstorm. You don't have to switch applications to go anywhere else. Everything is in one place. You don't have to switch. It's just easier to maintain if you don't have to be moving back and forth between different softwares. It also removes the memory that you're using on your computer, and everything just tries to run a little bit more smoothly. And also, as you can see here, you can actually save these queries for future use. Okay, I think that is about it. Again, look down below for the couple of notes that I have on this item, so you guys can copy and paste the Postgres localhost default, and also where to download the necessary file in order to run this. Alright, thank you for watching and have a nice day.